What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my circle along with my beautiful wife, Carrie. And today we're going to be talking about
our Disney Marvel cruise that we just got back from. And so many of you guys have been asking about our experience. So we're about to tell you about it.
Let's go.
Oh, I couldn't wait to share this one. Any moment, he would take you from waiting on it to walking in it.
Love you, babe. Love you, girl.
Happy anniversary. Cheers to no more surprise babies.
Regardless of what you're going through, it won't last forever. Our marriage is goals because you don't just fall into goals. You work for it. You build.
That's our story, and we're sticking to it.
Okay, so first we should talk about what we actually did and where we actually went. So I had to pull up our reservations just to make sure that I say it right. We went on a 5-night Western Caribbean cruise from Miami with the Marvel Day at Sea. Our stateroom was 8628, and we were on deck 8, and we were on the Disney Dream. That was one of the questions. And our room was a deluxe family room with an ocean view stateroom with veranda. That was a lot.
That was a lot. So we didn't spend as much time in our room, but when we did, we had more than enough space with me and my wife and then our 3 kids.
Yeah, and somebody actually asked how was the room situated. So when you walked in, you had the king bed, and then there was like a 3 twin beds. That
3
one was
twins.
a Murphy bed.
Yep. So you had a Murphy bed, then you had the bunk beds. One was a couch, and then they had a bunk that pulled from the ceiling. It was a pretty cool setup.
Yeah, I really liked having a balcony, and I know that you do pay more for those, but I think just being able to get a breeze in there, and while we were getting ready, I didn't feel like we had to rush getting ready all the time just like to see something. Like we just kept the door open while I was doing makeup or while we were changing the kids. And it was cool to see when we were pulling out of ports to watch from our balcony. Oh, and one night we got to see the Disney fireworks. And the only reason we saw them was because we had a
deck, and we was on the side that they was actually shooting the fireworks out from. So that was pretty cool. And for me, it was like, if you're claustrophobic, like, that wasn't an issue because for some reason that deck just made it feel like you have more room than you actually had. And we had, like I said, with 3 kids, they can be all over the place when we're in the room, and they was just all over the floor and everything. But we had enough room to where we wasn't on top of each other, which I thought was a pretty awesome deal.
Somebody did ask if they felt safe or if you felt safe having a balcony. And one cool thing that I saw is when you shut your balcony door, there's like a child safety lock at the top.
At the very top.
I couldn't even figure it out. So I felt safe. And then we also pulled the furniture back and just told the kids, like, don't
climb on the furniture that's on the balcony. So, and I mean, they got that. So they just love to go out and just look over.
And we are always right there. Like, we didn't let them go out there by themselves.
Yeah, so I don't think safety was a concern unless you just had somebody who was eager to get over.
Yeah,
which our kids was. And I don't think nobody on the cruise experienced anything like that either.
Okay, so let's jump in. Where did you guys go? So we did the Western Caribbean cruise. Our first stop was the Grand Cayman.
Grand Cayman, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I even put that, I would like to just vacation there because it was beautiful. And we actually took this cruise in February. And something that I do want to point out is the water in that south was warm.
It was very warm.
Yes. And so I was like, that's a great time to travel. That south is in February.
Yeah, we was in the water like the entire time. Like the water felt that good. And we had a lot of fun because, like I said, the water was pretty warm. So.
And it was clear. And it was
very clear.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And the sand was perfect. It was so somebody asked what to do in the Grand Cayman Islands, and what I would do there is go to the public beach.
Go to public beach, yeah.
The next place that we went is to the Disney Island, and I think that's close to the Bahamas or attached to the Bahamas.
Castaway Cay, I think the name of it is.
Or Castaway Cay.
Castaway
Somebody, they told us that's Key.
No.
Okay, and one thing I'm going to say about that is the waters were cold. Like, freezing, and I wanted to remember that specifically because I'm like, okay, I'm never going to the Bahamas in February.
The time.
The timing was too, but people were still swimming because like you had to seriously get used to it, but I think we would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah, and I would say as the day went on, it warmed up some, but it wasn't nothing like Grand Cayman. It was still pretty cool because I didn't get in the morning. It was too cold for me. I don't do water like that. But Riley and the kids, they was in a lot of the morning time. Then the evening, I finally came in, and it wasn't as cold as it were earlier. So it did warm up, but it took a lot of time for that to happen, and it still wasn't as warm as Grand Cayman.
Yeah, and I think the weather wasn't even as warm.
Yeah, it was had a little breeze, but like I said, it's still pretty hot compared to being here in South Dakota.
And then when you're on Castaway Cay, you do get like they feed you, and everything is Disney. So like you use your key card to pay for things. You get the free pops and stuff. But on the Grand Cayman, you had to pay. So like, yeah, when we went to the public beach, I do recommend if you do decide to take this cruise, make sure you eat before you get there because there wasn't really a lot of food.
Well, they had food. It was just like locals kind of cooking out with their spouse, and they're cooking local food. So, I mean, it was a great time if you want to like experience the local food. Like they had it literally there on the beach cooking for you with the chickens walking around and all these things. So they had a lot of jerk chicken. We didn't try it because we wasn't really hungry. So.
Okay, somebody asked if this was a collaboration, and it wasn't. We actually had to pay for this ourselves. Yeah, and it was not cheap. We will tell you the cost of everything at the end, so make sure to stay tuned. Did anybody feel nauseous while on the cruise due to being on the water?
It didn't even come to my mind. Our kids, I don't think they even noticed. They was enjoying themselves. I mean, they was tired because the days were long. But I don't think anybody had a problem with being nauseous or anything.
No, I didn't even. I think we had a really good sailing.
Yeah,
I think February was the perfect time for the waters, and I would cruise again in February. Okay, would you ever do another cruise, or would you fly to the destination and stay there, and why? You first. Would you do another cruise?
Oh, yeah, I would do either. I thought it was pretty fun. For me, it was like, you know, a couple times the first couple nights, we would just do some things and then just go to bed early or whatever. I was telling my wife, like, if we're going to be on a cruise, let's enjoy this cruise. Yeah. So as the days went on, we just figured out little things to do where we had to buy time for us. But also just with the kids, not just sitting around wanting to go back to the room so Ash can get on the tablet, but finding things to do throughout the ship because they have so much stuff to do. If it isn't the pool, they have games, they have movies. Yes. You can meet the characters. You can do just about anything. So for me, I didn't mind the cruise. It was our first time as a family, and I was just like, man, this is going to be crazy. You got the kids, that's going to drive you crazy, but it wasn't anything like that. And I think because Disney did a great job of just making sure the kids had a place to go to have fun and freeing up time for the parents.
Yes, I did love the
kids club.
The kids club, and your kids have to be at least 3 and potty trained, and it is free. And if they're under 3, there's like a daycare and you can pay for that. Per hour. I don't know the rates, you'll have to look that up. But it was cool, and they had this Disney band, and if your kid went anywhere that they weren't supposed to, the alarms went off.
Yep.
And we actually heard the alarms go off once when we were touring it, and I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But Riley and Asher loved the kids club. Aubrey did not like the kids club. She did try it once for 20 minutes, and she never went back.
She was determined not to go in there. And Asher, he's 5. The first couple of days, he loved it. But as the days went on, he did not want to go in there either. Riley, we couldn't get him out of there. So he enjoyed it the entire time. Asher kind of got bored with it because I think his age group they wasn't as active playing games like Riley's age group was. So
they were all together.
Yeah, they was together, but they were just split up based on age group, I think. And I think Asher kept saying like he's bored because they would just have to sit, maybe watch a movie or do something that wasn't like active, like dodgeball or Foursquare or whatever the games that Riley and them were playing. But Riley had an amazing time.
And he's 8.
Yep.
So somebody actually did ask, do you wish Aubrey was a little bit older? And what would you say?
I would say for us, yes, I wish she was a little bit older, mainly because she's not in daycare or anything. So all she knows is us.
Yeah.
So taking her on the boat and trying to get her to go to kids club is like trying to start new at a daycare. The first couple days or weeks or month, it's gonna be pretty crazy, and it was for her. So if your kid isn't like already in daycare or some type of social setting at the age of 3, then like I just personally, I wouldn't bring them. Like, 'cause she was just, we really didn't get a break from her besides the last couple nights. So at her age, like if they aren't ready socially, then it's probably not best to bring them.
Yeah, and I did feel safe leaving our children there. Like they had so much fun, and I heard from other parents because we talked to so many people and their kids loved the kids club and they got so much free time. And there's adults only areas that we didn't really get to go in as much because we didn't have any adult time. So I think we would have had a lot more fun. We still had fun, but we would have had a lot more fun if Aubrey maybe,
like just me and her, we still needed a break as well, but we saw like she still wanted to go. Like we saw a couple great shows. She met almost all the princesses, and so she had a great time. Just as far as like later on in the day when she should be taking a nap or when she's tired or overtired and she don't want to go to the kids club, like she got pretty crazy at times, and it was like, man, look, you can't come anymore. So I mean, it was fun, and we did the best that we could with her because, like I said, when she get overtired, like there's nothing stopping her. But me personally, if your kids aren't social, aren't in daycare, or just some type of surrounding like that at that age, I probably, like I said, I wouldn't.
Unless you have a grandma or a nanny or somebody to come with you and help. Otherwise, it's just going to be a lot of work. We met some people from Canada, and they had just came from Disney World. Somebody also asked, would you do a Disney World or a Disney cruise? And according to them, they actually did back-to-back. They said the Disney cruise was better because it wasn't as much work, except you got to see a lot more characters. And I do want to add that although Aubrey was 3, it was cool to see like her face. Like there was a lot of magic, I think, in Aubrey and Asher. Riley
so young.
Wasn't as magical. He still liked it, but
he still liked the characters.
You could see like
they was just like
in awe of like, oh my gosh.
She loved the characters.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna say like they wouldn't enjoy that part. I'm just like, as the day go on, as a parent, you still with her 24/7. So
it's not a vacation.
It's not like a vacation with her. So you still want to be able to enjoy the cruise at its fullest, and we didn't really get that, but we still had an amazing time. And she loved those princesses. And Asher, I was surprised, he loved them too. I was like, I don't know if it's like you crushing right now or whatever the case may be. I think
he loved it.
Carrie got a couple videos with Riley, and he was like walking and talking with the princesses as well. So he was at that age where he wasn't more like Aubrey, but he had just, for me, it was like, I think he got a little kid
that was
crush
Tatiana,
right now.
or Tatiana, the princess.
So I was like, he's kind of crushing right now, which was for me. It was good to see that because he's still a kid, and it's like we don't want him to try to force him to grow up too fast, even though he looks like he's older than what he is. He's still only 8 years old.
Okay, the next question: what stops did you take? We already answered that, but for how long? So
you have to be back on the boat at 4:30 every time. So we had,
and I think you could get off at like 7 or 8.
You can get off pretty early, and we always did like what?
We didn't get off until like 10:30, 11.
Yeah, so it was like, and then we stayed for probably 4 hours, and it was like
that was more than enough.
You're tired,
yeah, and you're hungry, and you really want to go back.
You want to get on the boat. You're like, let's get this show on the road. So it's more than enough time. And even if you wanted to do like excursions or anything, that was people who went out and did excursions at both stops, and they seemed to have a good time and didn't have to rush or get back super fast. So I think the time of everything was pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. One question that I got a ton was, is it all inclusive?
Yeah, but drinks of the day.
So yes, it is. All the food is included, except if you want to eat at like specialty restaurants, but we never did, and I thought it was just fine. But the drinks are not included. And the one thing that we did learn, I feel like a little bit too late in the game, was drink of the day is the cheapest drink. Otherwise, you're going to get an alcohol beverage, and it's going to be at least $12, would you say?
10 to 12, yeah.
Yeah, and the drink of the day, I think, is like $6.
It's like, drink of the day is like happy hour. So you
But it's
get
all day long.
Yeah, so you get happy hour all day long just by sticking with the drink of the day. And it usually was pretty good.
Yeah.
So
And then they walk around and try to sell you like packages of like drinks or whatever. And it's like up to you if you want to do that. But the pop is all inclusive and you just have to go to the 11th. You just have to go up to the 11th deck and they have cups. The coffee's all included.
Yep.
Yeah, food is buffet. The buffet is only at lunch and breakfast. And then the supper time, which I didn't know this, but there's no buffet at supper time. We've been on other cruises and there's no buffet on supper time, but you sit down and have dinner every single night.
It's like a themed dinner, which I thought was pretty cool. Every night was different. And some you have to dress up like we had the pirate night. I think you may have had the costume night. Or it's like the Marvel, where we sat in the
Marvel night
thing. They had Dory, Finding Dory or Nemo one night, so it was fish. So it was just different themes for every dinner, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. When you booked the cruise, you could either do an early dinner or a late dinner. We did do the early dinner, and then if you do the early dinner, you do the late show. So every night there's a show, and it's just a great show. And if you do the late dinner, you do the early show. One thing that I would say is we missed all the sunsets because of that. So that kind of stinks because I wish...
I mean, it wasn't the end of the
Yes,
world.
but I heard that it's like the sunsets on the cruise are so beautiful.
She didn't mention it one time on the cruise.
Yes, but if you want to see the sunsets, then you definitely have to do the later dinner.
Yeah, but you have to choose Mickey or the sunset. Spider-Man or the sunset. Captain America or the sunset.
What do you mean?
Black Panther or the sunset. Cinderella or the sunset. No, like you have to choose which one you wanted.
Even though there wasn't a buffet, there was like an express line where you could do like burgers and pizza and
subs and
maybe
salad,
a salad. Yeah, so if you were hungry at any other time, you could just get your kids that or yourself. I don't even know. And then there's always ice cream.
Yeah.
So everybody was always walking around because the ice cream is also free. Okay, next question. Did you bring the twins? Absolutely not.
Nope, and didn't feel guilty one bit.
No, that would have not been fun.
No, that would have.
That would have. I feel like it would have taken away from Riley and Asher and Aubrey's experience, and they got to have like more time with us. And they're older and they understand a lot more, and they can all know diapers. It was nice.
It was great.
It still wasn't a full vacation because we still had our kids, but it was still fun. Like, I feel like we had a ton of amazing memories.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody asked, how do you book for a larger family? They want me to book at different times. So, one thing that I do know is that the rooms hold up to 5 people, I believe. Well, we had 5. But if you had, my friend had this problem, if you have 6 kids, then you have to do 2 rooms, and they have connecting rooms. So I don't know how it all exactly works, but I'm pretty sure it's probably more expensive because you have to get 2 rooms. But we did book with a travel agent, and something that I didn't know is that travel agents are free. So I don't know if anybody else didn't know that, but they're free, and you can actually get better deals with them. And what was cool about our travel agent is she did give us onboard credit. So that was cool. We showed up, we were like, oh my gosh, we have a credit? That's cool. Yeah. Because once you get on board, everybody gets a key card and everything is charged to your room. So it's actually really easy to spend money because you're like, oh, just here's my key card. Yeah, here's my key card. And so we're going to tell you what we spent at the end, which was a lot more than I was expecting because it's just, we talked to so many people and they were like, it's just so easy to spend money because you don't have to have your wallet or anything. You're just literally, here's my key card.
You don't get a receipt. Well, you
don't even need your key card. You just have to know your room number. Okay, the next question. Was the cruise cost per person? And then were the meals included? Yes, we talked about the meals. All of those are included unless you do the specialty dining. And the cruise was per person. But the children have a cheaper cost. We didn't get any deals because we booked our cruise really, really last minute. I think like 3 weeks before we were going to sail, we booked this. But a lot of people we were talking to on the cruise, there was like this Disney Plus deal. And I think it was buy an adult, get a kid free. Or
what?
Yeah, I know. So we totally missed the discount. And so you had to have a Disney Plus membership, which we do. So I don't know if you should Google that or talk to a travel agent. Maybe they can help you with that. Yeah, we definitely got whatever. It's fine. The next question is really, really big. Did you need a passport?
No.
Nope. You didn't need a passport. I had my passport, but my husband's passport actually just expired. So I was like super nervous, and our kids don't have passports. We're going to get them though. But what they needed was your birth certificate, and you needed your driver's license.
Which is
yeah, so driver's license,
on the airplane,
birth certificate, and the kids just needed their birth certificates. And also make sure you don't pack those when you're leaving, because when you get back on the cruise, you have to go through customs and you need your birth certificates. And I packed ours, so we just got really, really lucky on that. And I think that's only for closed loop cruises, which means like you leave from the United States and you come back to the United States. And I forgot to say that we did leave out of Miami.
Miami, yeah.
Okay, so everybody really, really wants to know what it costed. You can actually go right on the Disney Cruise Line app or just Google Disney Cruises and you can look up costs. I'm sure every cruise is probably a little bit different. But I'm going to tell you in a second. Something I will say before we tell you guys exact amount is the Disney gratuities are not included and they are per person. I don't know, I can't remember exactly what they are, but you can choose to pay them before you cruise or you can choose to pay them while you cruise. So we prepaid our gratuities and so that is going to be included in this price. I did see some other people who paid it at the ship and it just gets charged on your credit card while you're there. And I heard somebody go up to the front desk and they were like, how did I go from this to this? And they were like, well, your gratuities. And somebody was like, that's a money saving tip if you pay it on the ship because it makes you spend less because you can see in your app. I forgot to say that there is a Disney app. While you're on the ship, you can text each other for free. Yeah. So that's kind of cool to always have free communication. Otherwise, you have to pay for the Wi-Fi. And we didn't pay for the Wi-Fi because I think it's kind of a cool way to disconnect. Okay, so this price actually makes me want to throw up because I didn't realize it was this much. Okay, so our cruise with 2 adults, 3 kids, and we had a deluxe balcony room with the gratuities and port fees and everything was $6,522.90.
Wow!
Yeah. But also, we didn't go on vacation last year, so it's fine. And it was so much fun.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
I think the kids...
We're not done yet. That's not the total price. Okay. And then...
Jesus!
They really get you when you get on the cruise because the drinks aren't free. And I don't know, you did drink on the cruise.
Yes, I drank on the cruise.
Yeah, I think I maybe had one. Well, I had that martini.
You had more than one.
Maybe 2.
When you tell them about that drink of the day. When you found that out now.
No, I didn't. I think maybe the most I had was 3. I had that martini and the drink of the day.
I bought you 5 of them myself.
Okay, so I don't know. But we didn't, whatever. This next price includes the drinks and we did do the cruise package. It was like where you can get all the photos from the ship, which I am glad that we did. And we got a better deal by booking pre-cruise on getting that better deal. But I am glad we got the cruise photos so we can show some of those.
I ain't even seen them yet.
Yeah, I know. We need to download them still. You get all the cruise photos, which I feel like I wish we would have actually taken more. And then is there anything else? Oh, and then we also paid for popcorn and we got the refillable drinks. So there's like a whole bunch of souvenirs that you can get. The popcorn, if you get it the first night, it's refillable every single night for like $1.50.
Yeah, so you just buy the bucket and the bucket makes it refillable. And if you watch the shows, you're gonna get the popcorn. So
because your kids are gonna want it.
Yeah, so you might as well just get the bucket so you can just pay $1.50 to get a refill opposed to like paying that full price every time.
And to add on to that, there's an 18 or 15% gratuity on every single thing. So I remember the first night we got the popcorn and 3 drinks, like soup. They're really cool cups. But it was like $100. And I was like, but you can't. I was like,
You
okay.
can. We just did.
Oh, I know, but it was our first night.
And it's a souvenir
Yeah.
for the kids. They really didn't ask for much because they just enjoyed it and they brought their own costumes. So I mean, they didn't have many souvenirs besides the popcorn bucket and the Mickey Mouse drink. So
and the photo package was like $200. So that includes. I mean, it was like that was like $350 with just those two things.
yeah, and knowing the photo package, like I said, you would just make time to stop and just get the photos that they're taking because all they're gonna do is ask you for your room number. So why not take it? And if you don't buy it, then you know there's no big deal. But if you do decide to buy it, that like I said, you have more photos. So they're always taking photos, and all they just do is ask for your room number to get those photos.
Yeah. So in total, the grand total that we spent with onboard charges, gratuities, and our actual cruise ship was $7,241.
Woo! Elizabeth,
Okay.
I'm coming to see you, baby.
Now, you still have to pay for transportation, your airfare. We actually got a killer deal on that. So transportation, and then a lot of times we always fly in a day early, so you have to pay for a hotel. But I had credit card points, so that was pretty cool. And then we flew into Fort Lauderdale, so we did have to Uber to the Miami airport.
Yep.
Or not to the Miami airport, but to the cruise ports. But we had friends that flew right into Miami, and they said to take the train to downtown Miami is like $3. So I thought that was kind of a cool money-saving hack. So I guess it just depends on what airport you do decide to fly into. So last question was it worth it?
Man, was it worth it?
I think it was so fun. It was so fun. Like, it was so fun. And another question was, would you do it again? And would you book Disney? Now, I am actually really open to booking a different line. So I'm actually looking at Royal Caribbean Cruise Line right now. Yes. So I'm not exclusively Disney. One thing though is the Disney cruise is just way more expensive, but they say it's like really magical. But I think that we would also have fun on another cruise line. One thing that I would say about Disney is the cruise ship at night isn't as alive as if you would go on like a Royal Caribbean cruise or something like that. Like Disney
But you also have to be alive at night to see. We was only up for one night and we just had so much time, and I thought it was
but I'm saying there wasn't much
like party
offered. I'm saying
Yeah.
there's like one adult thing at night. Like you can do it like once every hour, but it's like there's not many options is what I'm saying.
Well, we only tried for the one night, and that was when you had
but I even looked at
That's when you had your
I
one
even
drink,
looked
and we went to the Cumberland thing, and she was just trying to get on stage.
we did go on stage. That was fun. I'm not gonna lie. Disney,
She was like this, trying to get on stage, y'all.
Stop. Disney has really good entertainment, but I'm saying this is not like a party cruise.
It's not. It's
There's
more
a
for
different vibe.
Yeah, it's more for kids and adults that like the Disney theme or they're just huge Disney fans.
Yes.
And I like Disney enough to say like you can't afford not to do it if you can afford it, because it just, like I said, it was an experience. And it was something for our kid that just allowed us to connect with Riley, Ashley, Aubrey. She enjoyed it, but it was a little too long for her because the days are super long because you're on the boat the entire time. But for us being here in South Dakota and not having much to do, because when winter comes, like, you're just stuck in the house if you work, unless you work outside of the house. So for us, we couldn't afford not to do it. We would have to do something. And for me, I'm glad she did choose to do the Disney cruise opposed to anything else, because it was fun for I think all of our kids, and I actually enjoyed the time just being down in Florida again and just being able to see some sunshine for once. So I thought it was pretty fun. Like I said, she's been talking about some different cruises. That just kind of opened the door for us to be like, okay, we like the idea of cruising with our family. So now we're just open to not just Disney, because we've saw a lot of the characters. So we're just open to a different experience outside of Disney now.
Yes, and every cruise ship has something different to offer.
Yeah.
So even like a different Disney cruise, like a different cruise.
Yeah, they got some crazy boats that are coming out.
Yes.
It's just like,
we just watched it on Disney
man,
Plus.
you got Disney Plus. Like, they're building, I forget the boat, but it is. Wish. Man, that boat is crazy. So the boat was the boat was crazy, but just watching them build
the
that
boat?
Wish and watching them build the one that you showed me was
yeah. So I wanted. That's why
yeah.
I'm glad that we went because it was so fun as a family. I think it was such a family oriented cruise.
Yeah, it was an experience that I didn't know I needed.
Yeah.
I did not want to go on vacation because I did not want to get these kids to miss school. Because me, that's important. But once you move back to the Midwest and move back to South Dakota, you understand most people vacation during the wintertime. And schools, for me, is what I loved about it is like they're open to that. So they just prepare the kids by giving them their homework and everything ahead of time. So Riley was able to get everything done, and Asher, before even going on the trip. So I just love the fact that the school was actually willing to help out and they're open to people doing that. So for me, it just kind of gave me a different perspective and not making excuses as why we can't do these things. So for me, like I said, if you can afford it, then you can't afford not to take a trip like this for you and your family.
Speaking of like Disney cruise versus Disney going to actual Disney, I actually thought the Disney cruise was way more relaxing.
Yeah, because it's like home, except
but you're still magical and you have like the Disney magical experience because we lived by Disney World.
Yeah, we did.
And you leave Disney World exhausted.
No.
And one thing I also want to add too is the Disney cruise vibe is just way different. Like as if it's just not a party boat. Yeah. So we didn't see people just trashed or wasted. Like we saw kids roaming
family friendly.
These kids were roaming the ship all by themselves. Like, I mean, and that's how safe a lot of the parents felt, like just to let their kids run around. And it wasn't rowdy. It was just very family focused.
Yep.
Okay, I do want to say one thing that I didn't like, and that was I wish that there was more pools. Because the pools, when it's hot and you're on the sea, is just packed. Yeah, it's packed. So I don't know if the Wish had more pool, like the newer ship coming out.
The Wish looked like it had.
But the Disney Dream did not have enough pools.
Yeah,
I'm
and
telling
then they
you.
had like the adult area, which had like
but
maybe
you can't
2
bring your
pools,
kids.
but you can't bring your kids. So it's like not many people there because there's not many adults without kids there. So
yeah,
I feel like that could have went towards having more for a family with smaller kids, because it was a lot of family with smaller kids, including us there, and we was all just crowding around the small
like
pools
you were
that
just
they had.
Crowded. That's one of the reasons that I was open to a different cruise line, because now that we've went, I see some things that I didn't like, some things that I liked, and overall I think it was just so fun. Riley had a blast, Asher had a blast, Aubrey's still talking about it, and how she's ready to go back on the ship, or when are we going on the ship again? And so all of our kids are just ready to go back on vacation, and so I've already been looking.
Yeah, she has. Tell me about it. All right, so that's all you got, babe? That's all you want to talk about?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
I feel like you got a...
I know, there was literally so many questions. I think the majority of people just wanted to know, was it all inclusive? Yes. How much did it cost? Well, we just told you, but we do have a pretty large family. And you can find deals way better than ours, which I would definitely recommend getting a travel agent, booking in advance. You'll definitely get a better deal than us. Yeah, most people just want to know the cost, and was it worth it?
It was definitely worth it to me.
It was so fun. The memories made were so fun.
Right, and I'll have a lot to put in our family yearbook this year.
Yeah.
So if you guys like this video, remember to like and subscribe, and also remember to follow us on our other social platforms to stay up to date with what we have going on. So thank you guys, and have a blessed day.
That was good.
Yeah, girl. Good job.